What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed and I am back today with yet another video for you all. And today I'm giving you all an update on Sesen Bio, ticker symbol SESN. And because there was some recent good news that came out, but unfortunately the overall market has been pulling back. So Sesen was no exception. It pulled back pretty heavily since Monday this week. Now, I do want to give a quick shout out to the Webull page. Again, guys, if you do want to get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 that are valued up to about $1,600 if you're lucky. Again, I don't know how many people actually get that $1,600 valued stock, but regardless, you get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 with my link below. So feel free to do so. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So Sesen, this week we saw, again, we talked about it around $3 a share last week. And since then, unfortunately, it did go up to 346, which I thought, again, we're going to see continued momentum. But the overall market decided to pull back, which, again, we can't really predict these things. We don't know how to time the market or know when to get in or get out of certain plays. Regardless, down 18.3% from the beginning of the week on Monday. So why am I talking about Sesen today? Now, you can see here on the screen, Sesen Bio and Quill Pharmaceutical announced approval of IND application in China for Vicinium. So again, I talked about the pharmaceutical in detail in my previous video about Sesen. So if you go back, it's I think something along the lines of life-changing pharma company. So I will link it below if you want to look through my DD. But the thing that I'm doing today is not necessarily doing a deep dive, but rather talking about what an IND is and why it's significant for this company. So an IND is an investigational new drug application. So basically what that means is there's a pharmaceutical ingredient or something that Sesen has created within Vicinium, which we know, again, they're trying to treat certain bladder cancers. But regardless, the ingredient, it's novel, it's new, it's something that has not been used previously in healthcare or in medicine. So again, what they do is they complete an IND, whichever country we're talking about here, we're talking about China specifically, they have to get federal approval for the drug ingredient before, again, it passes, and therefore they can continue their R&D being research and development. So if you look here and read just the first paragraph, Sesen Bio, a late-stage clinical pharmaceutical company developing targeted fusion protein therapeutics for the treatment of patients with cancer, specifically bladder cancer. They didn't mention that here. Today announced the IND application for Vicinium and the treatment of BCG unresponsive non-muscle invasive bladder cancer, very specific. So again, they're going to be pretty targeted. So the other thing we want to look at when you're looking at a targeted population, we want to see what is the total addressable market, which we addressed in the previous video. So again, I will link it below for you guys to view. But regardless, when you look at it, is it something that can potentially get, more federal funding because of the fact that they're very targeted with the population that the medication is going to actually work for? Or is it something more vast, like something for diabetes or cardiovascular disease, something more prevalent in our population? But regardless, you can see that they submitted this, the Center for Drug Evaluation, the CDE of the China National Medical Products Administration, by the company's partner in China, Qilu Pharmaceutical, was approved ahead of the original timeline, which is April 2021. So when we see things like this, early approval of INDs, when we see here in the United States, the big thing that we've been looking at lately is EUAs, emergency use authorizations for the vaccine, right? So when we see things like expedited processes for these kind of pharmaceuticals or pharmaceutical companies, that is a very positive sign moving forward. So unfortunately, again, good news came out at a bad time, right? That's kind of been the theme for a lot of the stocks that we're in. Jaguar Health, whatever it might be. Zomedica, lots of good news, right? They launched a True Pharma, Jaguar Health, Napo EU. All the positive news comes out at a very unpositive time, if you will, or at a time that's pretty poor with the market pulling back. So again, what does that mean for me? If we're long-term on these plays, remember guys, my channel is not for financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor, but if you're long-term on a play, you're going to try to actually execute when things are pulling back. So Sesen Bio right now, this is not my opinion, but currently at 284, look what the analysts are saying. People have it priced at a target of, let's see here, let's go right over here, $7 average price target from the Wall Street analysts, right? So we have to respect some of these 5-star analysts, the fact that they're putting $8, $7, $6 price targets. So again, we're looking at potentially 100 to even more than 200% gains in Sesen Bio in the next 12 months. So if you're someone that's willing, again, if your risk tolerance is enough, any penny stock is high risk investment. But regardless, if you're someone who has the risk tolerance to put money into a stock and let it sit there for up to 12 months or longer, this might be a really, really good play to consider, right? So again, if we look at the technical analysis, I love this website, StockTA. I'm not affiliated with them by any means, but the fact that they draw all our resistance and support lines makes me really like the company. So you could see here, $1.99 is the next support line after 247. So I talked about it last time. I did get some skin in the game at $3, but again, I'm looking to potentially average down at this point to get a position in maybe closer to 247. So the fact that it's pulling back is good news for those of us who are long-term on the company. But if you're short-term, maybe again, assessing your risk tolerance, putting your trailing stop loss to make sure you preserve your wealth in case you put more money more money in than you're willing to lose. Always remember that. So again, support at 247 and a support at $1.99. We have some resistance near the $3 range, and after that, $3.50. But I'm sure as more positive news comes out, more data is presented, positive data, I should say, is presented with Vicinium in China, in the US, everywhere, because we know currently it's completing clinical trials in phase 3. Those are the kind of things that we're going to await, because again, we're going to be patient. I'm not going to be looking to sell in the short term, even when the overall market pulls back like this. And again, that should kind of give us more reassurance. If a stock pulls back when the overall market does as well, that's not necessarily a terrible thing, nor is it really a red flag, especially with penny stocks, because they're a lot more volatile, smaller market caps. So again, volume and price manipulation are inevitable. So quickly, let's glance at the 1K to 10K portfolio. We see that we're actually down quite significantly this week. We were up to pretty much about $1,000 again at the end of last week, because again, the overall market was doing well and we were doing even better. But unfortunately, since then, we're seeing a pretty significant pullback. NMTR at $1.33, so Medica at $1.70. I never thought we would see this again, but we are. So we got to just be transparent here. Acosti Pharmaceuticals, ACST, 64 cents a share. CTXR actually up today, 2.4%. BHTG, BioHigh-Tech. Guys, again, this is one that I want to focus on for a second. But BioHigh-Tech, look what happened. I told you guys that this is a company that's going to be a part of our recovery plays. It's one that has strong potential, because the fact is they have contracts with the federal government here in the US. They just increased their contract that they had previously with Carnival. So we know that these cruise lines are going to reopen at some point, and they're getting ready for that. So the food digesters that they have in place, $1.8 million deal was just set with BioHigh-Tech and Carnival Cruise Line. So guys, again, the reason that I bought into these plays when they were dirt cheap, because again, not too long ago, this was $1.40. We saw it go up to $5 a share, is because I'm looking at it in anticipation of a recovery after the vaccine rollout is completed and, you know, we achieve our herd immunity that we're looking for. But regardless, going back to the full portfolio, we are down significantly, but I'm not too worried about it. We see pullbacks. We saw them, you know, a lot more severe than the current one that we're seeing. But regardless, you know, look at Jaguar Health, $1.87, Senseonics, $2.79, POAI, Predictive Oncology, $1.25 a share. These are things that we couldn't anticipate. But again, if you have the risk tolerance and the buying power, this is when you could potentially average down. So in my main portfolio, thankfully, I'm able to, you know, buy and sell securities and stocks more so than I can do on my penny stock challenge, because again, my buying power is at $0, and I'm still not comfortable selling any of these companies, even though I have made a profit since our initial investment on this challenge. But regardless, everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, I do want to apologize about my setting. This is not my typical setup, but in addition to that, also the little alarm that you're hearing, there's no way around it. So again, just apologizing for anyone that's going to comment below. But thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, keep investing.